What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz podcast. We in the Apex with a rematch that Loki's a sleeper. No one's really talking about, but should be a good fight. Brandon Allen versus Chris Curtis. April 6th. The card's going down and the Apex. Should be a good one. As always, go down, like, and subscribe. Comment your thoughts on this fight, on this card featuring Damon Action Jackson taking on Alexander Hernandez. Trevor Peak 9-1 taking on Charlie Campbell and almost damn near a pick 'em. Norma the dump truck Dumont taking on Shane Durandamy. Should be a nice little scrap between the ladies in that one. But as always, if y'all don't know, I'm Paul Pick'em Wyndham Concha, and I'm joined with.
You already know it's that boy Cap Waterboy support, aka the Don PYE, aka the realest on your stream. And Pablo, dog, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've heard of a lot of these fighters. Maybe I'm not doing my research. I'm not locking in more. I just got to the point where I'm listening to them, from watching the fights with the sound on, so I can learn about the fighters before they fight and shit. But I do not know these people.
Don't get me wrong. I respect all these fighters. I watch all these fighters. I know most of these fighters. Not on a personal level, but I've watched them fight. I can talk any of these fighters or anyone else in any of the chats and stuff. I know at least something. But you want to catch me dead spending an hour, hour and a half breaking down each one of these fights. Not a goddamn chance in
Oh
10.
my gosh! I seen Damon Action Jackson fight in person. He lost.
See, I enjoyed it. I'm saying I Jermaine Durandamy. I enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
I like these. I'm betting on most of these fighters, like because I know these people, but it's not really not the most worth it thing. A lot of people are saying skip over this card and just go wait, just pretend to sleep till 300. I'm not one of them people, but I understand the sentiment behind it.
Nah, these be because it's my thing about people like that is that like those be those same people that said the same thing about last card. Like, oh man, another lame card before 300. We got to do better. And next thing you know, you get eight knockouts, eight finishes in 13 fights. Like you get a fucking 50-45 out of nowhere for a fight that everybody thought was a pick 'em. Like you get to see somebody the first ever eye poke KO. Like there was a lot of shit that happened, and the energy, the crowd was great, and the energy was amazing. But like if you slept on it, you slept on it. So I don't know. I'm gonna watch the card because like that's what I do Saturday nights, and hopefully it's good so I can talk about y'all later.
I mean, like I said, I respect all these fighters. I will be betting and I will be watching, but mostly what we're going to be talking about tonight is the main event. Honestly, the only fight on here that has some repercussions in divisions and what's going to shape the future, what goes on for both these fighters. Brandon Allen versus Chris Curtis to the rematch, where in 2021, Chris Curtis knocks out Brandon Allen while he was in the middle of a fucking 8 fight win streak, five leading into the UFC, and then Brandon Allen was one of the UFC fights. But since then, he's been 3-2-1. Chris Curtis has had his ups and downs. Honestly, at this point, I feel like a lot of people enjoy him for his podcast more than his fighting. But then we got Brandon Allen, who since that loss in 2021 has redefined himself and has gone 6-0. And out of those 6 wins, kept 5 finishes, 5 submissions.
Wow.
Submission win over Paul Craig in his last fight. First round submission over Bruno Silva. Third round submission over Andre Munoz, who's never been submitted prior to that fight, is a high level black degree and has like 20 submissions himself. Decision win over Jacob Malkin and submission over Sam Alvey. And then, so, I mean, Brandon Allen, 14-1 in submissions, 23-5 overall. Everyone knows that boy. If it hits the mat, your ass may be in trouble. Chris Curtis knows that. That's why he gave his ass a mean head kick KO last time they met. So, can Chris Curtis do it again? Or is Brandon Allen, because Brandon Allen is now 28 years old, entering his prime. Chris Curtis is 36. The odds will show Brandon Allen's minus 220, Chris Curtis plus 180. They're expecting Brandon Allen to get his lick back. But I mean, it's the UFC. There's a shitload of underdogs that won last week. You never know. Week to week, anything can happen.
No, you haven't told a single lie with that, Pebble. Great fucking breakdown, great research. Shout out, Paul. Because the UFC didn't take the time to make us no videos or nothing like that. They dropped the UFC 300 countdown this week, so I didn't even know how deep this storyline was. And it's not even a storyline; it's real life. But there's some history behind this, and this fight should be a good fight. You might, I love Chris Curtis. I think Chris Curtis is phenomenal, but Brandon Allen Young, up and coming, win streaks. I've yet to see him lose since I've watched MMA. I might take that to take Brandon Allen, even though I think Chris Curtis hits hard, hard. Remember when he was in Miami and he fought what's he is risen Jet that fought Izzy.
Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, Kelvin Gastelum. Yeah, they were thumping like they were going crazy. But I really think Chris Curtis is gonna try to box with him. I don't think Brendan Allen's gonna get caught this time, and then he's gonna take him to the mat and figure it out from there.
I would say the only thing that kind of worries me in this fight is Brandon Allen, right before he submitted Bruno Silva, early, it was a first round submission, but early in that first round, one of the first exchanges, Bruno Silva caught Brandon Allen, and it was a big caught his ass, and it's like, oof, like you lucky you're once you hit the mat, you're able to submit anybody off your back. But I mean, I think Brandon Allen is like I said, entering his prime since that loss. He's honestly leveled up in opposition. Andre Munoz was a big test, and he got over that with flying colors. Taking on Paul Craig at middleweight when he's normally at a light heavyweight. This was Paul Craig at 185. It was a big dude at 185 took care of that. But I mean, at this point, I think Chris Curtis. I don't want to disrespect him, but he's on his way out. Like he's got the podcast with Sean Strickland. He's got the social media presence. There's nothing really. He's a fun fighter. That's what he is. I think he's just gonna be a fun fighter with a big social media presence, and he's gonna ride that and build his empire with that. And he should. But Brandon Allen looking like the real deal. So give me Brandon Allen. I don't think it'll be submission. Chris Curtis hasn't been submitted since 2011. So Brandon Allen really got to be in his bag if he submits Chris Curtis. But yeah, let me give me the Brandon Allen unanimous decision win right here.
Really, you did.
Yeah, they both got good cardio too. And I think Chris Curtis probably got better cardio. So fourth and fifth round, he might look the best the whole fight.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think Brandon Allen's gonna take it early, so it's gonna be like understood, and it's just like, oh, they're back to the ground again, back to their normal
On his back,
shenanigans.
he's backpacking him.
Yeah, back to normal shenanigans type. So I respect it.
This
I
could
like
be
I just
a
hope
boring fight.
I like it to I like Chris to get caught in the third or something like that to make this an interesting night. But that's what I'm saying. I like Brandon Allen to take it to the mat and then figure something out.
Honestly, the more I think about it, I think it's gonna be a boring fight. I think it's gonna be a backpacking type of night where Chris may for 30 seconds of each round look good, catch him, but then eventually Brandon Allen gets the takedown on his back, and for the next 4.5 minutes, it's a couple punches, couple submission attempts, couple punches, couple submission attempts.
Yeah.
But we'll find out this Saturday night. Well, let us know what you think. Who wins down below? What's your bet? Everything. I'm Paul Pick and Win. I'm joined with Kevin, Waterboy Savoy. We'll catch y'all for UFC on the recap for the UFC Apex, Brandon Allen, Chris Curtis too. And next week we'll be back for the UFC 300 picks. As always, this has been another episode of Totally Blix podcast. You didn't know? Now you know, motherfuckers.